On Christmas Eve, a single father noticed a young girl rummaging through trash. What he learned about her life left him utterly shocked. Ethan Carter expected Christmas Eve to be another solitary night at his job. But when he saw a small figure sifting through garbage behind his apartment complex, he made a choice that altered two lives forever. What began as a simple gesture of compassion uncovered a devastating reality no child should endure, leading to a transformation neither could have anticipated. Before we dive deeper, let us know where you're joining us from. We're thrilled to see how far our stories reach. The icy December wind sliced through the night like a blade. Ethan Carter pulled his coat closer as he stepped out of his building, keys clinking in his pocket. Christmas Eve, 11:47 p.m. Just another shift at the security firm where silence was his only company. But as Ethan headed to his car, something caught his eye. A small figure by the dumpster, moving with purpose. Squinting through the darkness, his breath forming clouds in the cold, Ethan's heart nearly stopped. It wasn't an animal, it was a child, a girl no older than 7, carefully sorting through trash. Her small, red, trembling hands sifted through discarded food containers and crumpled paper with the precision of someone who'd done this before. Ethan moved toward her before his mind fully registered the scene. "Hey there," he said softly, careful not to scare her. The girl's head jerked up, her wide brown eyes filled with fear. She clutched a half-eaten sandwich to her chest, poised to flee. "It's okay," Ethan said, raising his hand slowly. "I'm not going to hurt you." She stayed still, studying him with a weariness far beyond her years. Her oversized, tattered purple jacket dwarfed her small frame, and her dark hair fell in tangled strands around her pale, sunken cheeks. "What's your name, sweetheart?" Ethan asked gently. After a long pause, she whispered, "Lily." "Lily," Ethan echoed, stepping closer cautiously. "That's a beautiful name." "I'm Ethan." He knelt to her level, his heart aching at the sight of this tiny girl alone in the freezing night. "Are you looking for something specific?" Lily's grip on the sandwich tightened. "Food," she said, her voice barely audible over the wind. The word struck Ethan like a blow. No child should be scavenging for food in a dumpster, not on Christmas Eve, not ever. "Where are your parents, Lily?" Her face paled further, her lip trembling as she looked down. I don't have any," she said, her voice breaking. Ethan felt a sharp pain in his chest, a long-buried instinct stirring. The protective urge of a father. 3 years earlier, Ethan had been a different man. He'd had Emma, his wife, whose laughter lit up their world and whose touch turned their modest apartment into a home. They'd been planning their future, painting a nursery soft yellow, wanting the baby's gender to be a surprise. Each night, Emma would guide Ethan's hand to her belly, and they'd dream about names, their family, their future. But life took a cruel turn. Emma went into labor on a rainy March morning. Ethan drove to the hospital, hands trembling with joy, ready to meet their son. He paced the waiting room, calling family, texting friends, his heart brimming with hope. Then the doctor appeared, unable to meet his gaze. Complications rare, unexpected. In an hour, Ethan lost everything. Emma, their unborn son, Noah, and the future they'd planned. The man who entered the hospital as an expectant father left shattered, empty, alone. For 3 years, Ethan lived like a ghost. He moved to a smaller apartment, took a job requiring minimal interaction, and built walls around his heart. He convinced himself he was fine, that solitude was enough, until now. "What do you mean you don't have any?" Ethan asked Lily, his voice softer than it had been in years. Tears welled in her eyes as she fought to hold them back. "I was living with my grandma Clara. She was all I had after." Her voice faded. "After my mama left when I was a baby." Ethan waited, sensing more. "Clara got sick 3 weeks ago," Lily continued, her words rushing out as if to lessen the pain. "She had this cough that wouldn't stop, and she was so tired. We couldn't afford a doctor, so she took store medicine." Lily wiped her nose with her sleeve. "One morning, I tried to wake her for breakfast, but she wouldn't open her eyes. I shook her, called her name, but she wouldn't wake up." Ethan's throat tightened. He knew that feeling, the desperate shaking, the denial, the moment reality crashes in. "People in uniforms came and took her away," Lily whispered. "They said I had to live with new families, but—" Her voice broke, tears spilling over. "None of them wanted me to stay. They kept moving me around. The last people didn't care about me, so I walked here to our old neighborhood, hoping Clara might come back." Tears burned Ethan's eyes. This child had been tossed through the system like paperwork, forgotten, abandoned, surviving on scraps and hope, just as he'd felt after Emma's death. But she was only 7. "Lily," Ethan said, his voice thick, "how long have you been out here?" 2 days, she admitted. "I've been sleeping in the basement of the apartment building next door. There's a broken window I can fit through." 2 days, a 7-year-old, alone in December's cold. Ethan stood, mind racing. He checked his phone, 12:03 a.m., Christmas Day. "Lily, listen to me carefully. You don't have to do this alone anymore." She looked up, confused, wary adults had made promises before, all broken. "I know you don't know me," Ethan continued, "and you probably don't trust grown-ups right now, but I promise you, I'm not going anywhere." Something in his voice, perhaps its raw honesty, or the reflection of his own pain, eased her tension slightly. "How about we get you somewhere warm and get some real food?" Ethan asked. Lily hesitated, torn between survival instincts and the cold seeping through her thin jacket. The sandwich in her hands was moldy at the edges. She nodded. Ethan's apartment was simple but tidy. He hadn't had guests in 3 years, and it showed functional, but lifeless, no photos, no warmth. But as Lily's eyes widened at the heat from the radiator, Ethan saw his home anew. Through her eyes, his nothing became something. "Let me run you a bath," he said, heading to the bathroom. "You must be freezing." As the tub filled, Ethan gathered small clothes, a t-shirt that would hang like a dress, socks, drawstring sweatpants. While Lily bathed, likely her first in days, Ethan warmed leftover soup and made grilled cheese sandwiches, simple but nourishing. When Lily emerged, swimming in his clothes, her hair clean and cheeks flushed from warmth, she looked transformed. Still frail, still cautious, but human again. She ate slowly, as if afraid the food would vanish. Ethan noticed her careful bites. "There's more," he said gently. "You can have as much as you want." Tears filled her eyes. "Really?" As she ate, Ethan's mind churned. He couldn't send her back to a system that had failed her, but keeping her meant navigating legal channels. He thought of Emma, the nursery, their dreams of parenthood. Maybe this was why he'd survived. Maybe this was his second chance. That night, as Lily slept restlessly on his couch, Ethan made calls. He contacted the Department of Children and Family Services, explained the situation, and inquired about emergency guardianship. He called his supervisor for time off and reached out to Lucas. Allow your friend from his past life, despite the hour. Lucas answered grudgingly, Ethan, it's Christmas morning. Everything okay? Lucas, I need your help, Ethan said, meaning it for the first time in years. As he explained, he watched Lily toss in her sleep, her face creased with worry, hands clutching the blanket. This is complicated, Lucas warned. The system doesn't take kindly to sudden adoption requests. There are checks, studies, procedures. I don't care how complicated it is, Ethan said, his voice steady with newfound resolve. This girl's been failed by everyone. I won't be another who walks away. Silence followed. Ethan, are you sure? It's been 3 years since Emma and the baby. You've been isolated. Raising a traumatized child is... I know what it is, Ethan cut in. And I know I'm not who I was. Maybe that's why I can help her. We both know loss. We both know loneliness. When he hung up, Lily stood in the doorway, tears streaming down her face. You're still here, she whispered, disbelieving. Of course I'm here, Ethan said, kneeling. I told you I'm not going anywhere. But in the morning, she began. In the morning, we'll figure this out. You're not going back to basements or dumpsters. Not while I'm here. Lily threw her arms around him, and Ethan felt something inside him crack open, something frozen for 3 years beginning to thaw. The next weeks were a whirlwind of paperwork, hearings, and red tape. Ethan dove in with an intensity he'd once used to avoid life. He attended every meeting, completed every form, and underwent every check and evaluation required. He took parenting classes and therapy to prove his readiness. Lily stayed with him under emergency placement. He watched her slowly trust he wouldn't vanish. Healing wasn't easy. Nightmares woke her screaming, reliving Clara's death. Ethan stayed by her side, holding her hand, assuring her safety. She hoarded food, fearing scarcity. Ethan gently returned it to the kitchen, promising plenty. Sometimes she withdrew, bracing for abandonment. Ethan stayed steady, showing commitment through actions. He learned to braid hair, help with homework, and navigate a child's emotions while facing his own grief. But he also rediscovered joy. Lily's first real laugh at a silly breakfast joke reminded him of happiness. Her first A+ in math, her pride glowing, taught him to celebrate another's success. The day she called him Dad, tentatively, Ethan cried in private, overwhelmed with gratitude. Have you ever felt you were meant to meet someone? Ethan asked his therapist, Dr. Morgan, 6 months later. What makes you say that? She asked. Before Lily, I was just existing, Ethan said. I thought I was fine, but I was hiding. When Emma and the baby died, I thought my chance at fatherhood was gone. But maybe that loss prepared me to understand Lily. Maybe I needed to know loss to help her rebuild. Dr. Morgan nodded. How has caring for her affected your healing? Ethan smiled. She saved me. I thought I was saving her, but she gave me purpose. I was drowning in grief until I had someone who needed me to be strong. She made me want to be the man Emma believed I could be. If this story resonates, share in the comments. Has helping someone ever healed you? The courthouse buzzed that Tuesday morning. Ethan sat outside family court, leg bouncing nervously. Lily, in a new purple dress that fit, held his hand. "Are you nervous?" she asked. "A little," Ethan said. "You?" "Excited, nervous," she said. "Like opening a present you really want, but fear it's not what you hope." Ethan squeezed her hand. "What do you hope for?" "For you to be my real dad forever, not just until someone sends me away." His throat tightened. "That's my hope, too." In court, Lucas, the social worker, and Lily's guardian ad litem were present. Judge Eleanor Ramirez reviewed the files. After 15 years on the bench, this case stood out. "Mr. Carter," she said, "6 months ago, you were a single man with no parenting experience, requesting guardianship of a child you'd known for hours. I had concerns. But reports from Dr. Morgan, Lily's teachers, and social workers show a man devoted to healing and caring for a child in desperate need." She turned to Lily. "Young lady, I hear you have something to say." Lily stood, voice strong. "Your Honor, Ethan saved my life, not just that night when I was cold and hungry, but every day since. He makes me feel safe. He helps with homework, braids my hair even if it's crooked." Laughter rippled through the room. "He stays when I have bad dreams and keeps his promises. He's my real dad because he chose me and keeps choosing me." Judge Ramirez smiled. "By the power vested in me, I grant the adoption petition. Ethan Carter, you are now Lily Carter's legal father." The gavel fell. Ethan's knees buckled with relief. Lily grinned. "We did it," she whispered. "We did it," Ethan said, lifting her in a hug filled with transformed grief. That evening, over takeout Chinese, their tradition, Lily gave Ethan a drawing from art therapy. 2 figures holding hands before a house. "My family" written above. "This is us," she said shyly. "Is that okay?" Ethan teared up. "It's perfect." The house had yellow curtains they'd chosen, flowers they'd planted. "Can I tell you something?" Ethan said, hanging the picture. "What?" "I thought families were only those you're born with. You taught me the best families are chosen, built with love and commitment." Lily climbed into his lap. "Thank you for not walking away that night." Ethan kissed her head. "Thank you for letting me stay." As he tucked her in, Ethan reflected. The scared, hungry girl had become his light. The broken man had found purpose in protecting her. Family isn't just blood, it's love, choice, commitment. If you believe compassion changes lives, subscribe for more stories. Ethan once doubted fate. After Emma, he believed in nothing. But watching Lily sleep, secure in their home, he wondered if this was meant to be. 2 broken souls found each other on the loneliest night, creating a family from shared loss and unconditional love. The man who lost his wife and son found purpose in raising a daughter who needed him. The girl who lost everyone found a father who'd never let her feel abandoned again. Their Christmas Eve meeting showed family isn't who you're born to, but who chooses to love and stay through life's storms. Transformation begins with kindness, a choice to stop, to open a closed heart, to let another's need redirect your life. When Ethan thought he was saving Lily, she was saving him. That Christmas Eve, he didn't just find a daughter, he found purpose, love, a second chance. Lily found her father, not the one who left, but the one who saw her at her lowest and chose her. All we want is to be seen, chosen, loved, to belong. Ethan and Lily gave that to each other, building a family from loss and love. That's the stunning truth that left Ethan speechless. Sometimes the family you need arrives unexpectedly, in a tattered jacket, searching for hope, waiting to be seen as worth saving. Ethan saw, chose, stayed, and that changed everything. If this story moved you, if it showed the power of kindness, don't walk away. Subscribe and join our channel.